Okay, what's up, guys? Not feeling so great today, but you know what? Shadowhunters premiered last night, season 2, and since I loved the first season so much, and I promised I would come here and talk about it, we're gonna do that. Should probably go find a jacket, but we're just gonna roll with it. Um, so if you haven't seen the first season of the show, and you have no idea about any of the books, this might not be the best video for you to watch because I probably will spoil things. Like, let's have a blanket spoiler warning. Before I get to spoilers, though, I did like the episode. I had issues with the final scene because to me things felt a little and I'm gonna talk about that when I talk about spoilers. The writing on the show is just so much better. I know I mentioned it in my 2K17 planned video when I talked about reviewing Shadowhunters. I have read the first 5 books in the Mortal Instruments series. I have them all rated on my Goodreads. I don't know if there are written reviews for all of them, but I know that I gave them like a star rating. I think I gave like most of them 3 stars, some of them are 2 stars. I don't think I gave any 1 stars. I didn't read the final book, City of Heavenly Fire, I think it was, mainly because that book is a monster. Like, it's 600 pages, and I wasn't enjoying the series anyway. But I just have major problems with how this series was written in the books and how characters were in the books. And overall, I just did not like the books. Like, I found myself mainly reading them for Alec and Magnus, and Alec and Magnus are so fucking insignificant in those books that it just wasn't worth it anymore, and I just couldn't do it. But the show, I feel, it's like I like all the characters, and I'm there for all of them. So let's just get started. So now, this episode picks up pretty much not right after. Well, I would say picks up right after the end of season 1. Like, if anything, not that much time has passed. Like a couple days, but it feels pretty immediate. And so, while there are things I want to complain about, like the whole relationship between Simon and Clary, and how that's still like Simon has feelings for her, when to me, and it feels like a lot of people, like he and Raphael, just need to get together and cuddle it out. But when you think about like, oh, it's only been a couple of weeks, obviously, you know, that's not going to be resolved, even if we've been waiting like a year or whatever for season 2. So while I'm not on board this Simon Clary relationship, and I feel that they're just super good friends, I can understand why that's still a thing. Um, I understand why they still want to save Jace because again, it's very immediate for him. And while her name is it's eluding me, and I would Google it, but I just can't be bothered. But the blonde girl that they brought in to head the institute last season, who I'm pretty sure was a creation for the show and wasn't the person in the books, but again, I could be wrong because that was so long ago I read them. I really liked her character. I'm happy she's still sticking around. Um, I'm sure, and I mean, I shouldn't be that surprised because again, it takes place just a couple weeks after the events in season 1. But I was still, I guess, low key worried, like unconsciously, that she wouldn't be there, and so I'm really happy she is. I'm really happy that Magnus and Alex are still working on their shit. I'm still happy that they're together, and that Alec is not being a biphobic little piece of crap. I'm really happy that they have a healthy relationship. I'm happy that the healthy relationship between Clary and Isabel is still there. Like, I never understood why they didn't like each other in the books. It seemed totally unnecessary to me. And the whole scene in this episode where Isabel was helping Clary train uh, and like giving her advice and stuff, like that was brilliant. Like, so brilliant. I was so happy to see them together and being like, yes, I'm so. It just makes me happy inside. Like, it made me like. I was so happy. Uh, I was also happy to see Victor in the show. I don't know if he was a person of color in the books, but I'm happy he's a person of color on the show because he's still doing whatever Victor Aldertree, whatever his name is, was doing there. So I'm happy he's here. It's nice to see Jocelyn awake, I guess. I never really cared about Jocelyn in the books, and TBH, I guess I still don't care about her now. The only good thing that she did in this episode was try to kill Jace. Like, let's be real. I mean, she was going for Valentine, but if she had to take out Jace too, then I would be okay with that. Um, I do want to take a moment to talk about the special effects on this show because I think that they are done brilliantly. It's probably like the highlight of the show. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of it done in this episode. They had, at the beginning, the whole changing form thing when we thought he was killing Valentine. Although TBH, like, if you really thought that was Valentine, then like that would be so pointless. Like, they would have nothing to do all season. But it was still nice. Like, even though I was kind of confused, where I was like, okay, this is either like a dream or something, because one, how would she even get a portal there, Jace? Like, you've been the Shadowhunter for how long? She doesn't know where you are. How is she gonna open a portal? Like, that should have tipped him off in the first place, that there was no portal, because you have to, like, know where the portal is going to, I thought anyway, from my little knowledge that I remember from the books. And even just common sense would tell you that if you're gonna open a portal to somewhere, you have to know where the somewhere is. So I feel like that should have tipped him off, and that was just Jace being stupid again. So there was that whole thing, and then at the end of the episode, they were staking all the, well, not they, when Jace was staking all the vampires, and they had the special effects of them disintegrating. I thought they were on point. The only wonky thing was the CGI construct of the Institute, and that was like at the beginning when it was dark outside. I felt it was weird. Later on in the episode, when Alec and Marcy were talking outside the Institute, and they had everyone walking around them. One, I thought that was unnecessary because you've already established that the Institute is like cloaked, and so just to see them two stand there having a conversation when they knew that no one else could hear the conversation, it was kind of weird. I didn't really understand why we needed to see that happening, but I guess we did. This Institute looked better there. It looked more like an actual building in that scene than it did earlier in the episode when it was dark outside. My only main complaint with this episode is going to be at the end, and that's when Maria was surrendering herself to the clave, and then Jace had the stake to her, I think it was like at her chin or something. It was near her, and he was struggling if he was going to stake her or not. And she was like, oh, you have your little stick there and you can't use it. And it was very like a double entendre, like totally like if you're, I guess if you're like the target demographic for the show, like, you know, I don't even know what their target demo is, but I'm assuming it's like later teens, like early 20 people. Like, some of them are not gonna get the sexual innuendo, but I got it. And so then when he actually used the stick after, you know, it was very clear that she had surrendered herself and stuff, it just felt low-key rapey to me. And as if you've watched any of my recent videos, I think that you would think that I talk about rape a lot, but I don't know, maybe I'm just looking for it at this point, but it just felt low-key super rapey to me. And then you had Valentine, who's his father, over there talking about, oh, you know you want to do it, you know you want to stake her, and I was just like, why do we need him, like, egging her? Like, it was uncomfortable for me. And I was really happy that it was like the last thing in the episode, because if it had gone on for any longer, if the episode had progressed after that, I'm not sure I could have stuck around after, because it was uncomfortable. But that was the only complaint that I had. Otherwise, I think that the show continues to prove why it is so good. And I really think if you didn't like the books, I think that you would like the show. I do think that, because I was not a huge fan of the books, and I'm just sitting here living for the show. So if you haven't checked out season 1, it is available on the Freeform app. I don't think you have to have a television provider to sign in and use it, and it's probably on the website too. And again, I don't think you need a TV provider to sign in and watch episodes, at least the most current episodes. I don't. Season 1, I could be wrong, I'm sorry. But if you haven't watched the show, I can't recommend it enough. And if you watched the season premiere last night, leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. My review of Beyond will be going up later on this afternoon / evening time. So if you are looking forward to that, that will be there for your viewing pleasure later today. So see you again later today, and I'll see you again tomorrow. And we're just going to keep going here. Bye.